The Sports Couch is the area's only locally produced weekly sports show that is live on FM radio and also streamed live on both of our websites at AreaSports.net and at WVYN.org. Who will be on the couch this morning? Let's find out. The Sports Couch is on the air right now. And hello again, sports fans. Welcome to another edition of the Sports Couch. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio. Danny is still on that combine today. Yeah, they got the beans done. They're working on the corn, and hopefully they'll be able to finish that up this week, and he'll be back in the saddle with us next week here on the Sports Couch. Busy day today again. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter show today because of some activities that we're involved with today over in Mount Vernon with a dog adoption day today over there. So we're going to just have a 1-hour show this morning instead of 90 minutes, but we got 4 great coaches we're going to have on the show with us this morning. We'll be talking in just a few moments with Coach Justin Townsend of the Fairfield Mules. They have a huge win last night over El Dorado to go 8-0 on the season and set up that big game next week where they will take on Sesser-Valier Co-op for the Black Diamond Conference Championship. Sesser-Valier also 8-0 after their victory last night. And so we'll talk to both coaches. We'll talk to Coach Townsend from Fairfield and Coach Shadowens from Sesser-Valier this morning to talk about their wins last night and to kind of preview that big matchup next week when both undefeated teams will converge there at the train yard in Fairfield. Also, we'll talk to Coach Brian Tackitt of the Flora Wolves. They had a tough one last night against Carlisle. What a battle that was. And then we'll also talk to Sam Wilson, the cross-country coach at Hamilton County. His Foxes and Lady Foxes have had an incredible cross-country season and captured another Black Diamond Conference championship yesterday or over the week, and we'll talk to him about that. Last night in the Black Diamond Conference, it was Fairfield over El Dorado 14-8. Sesser-Valier Co-op beat Vienna 38-13. Edwards County over Johnson City 27-7. Carmi beat Hamilton County 34-8. Chester over Christopher 60-0. Little Illini Conference last night. Red Hill over Lawrenceville 55-0. Marshall over Casey Westfield 36-8. Newton beat Olney 42-21. Paris over Robinson 46-7. Non-conference game involving the Flora Wolves, who are from the Little Illini. They stepped out of the conference last night and took on Carlisle and lost to the Indians in a tight one, 14-7. River Conference last night, Anna Jonesboro over Sparta, 46-14. Carterville beat Pinckneyville, 36-7. DuQuoin over Nashville, 56-13. Murfreesboro surprised Benton, 19-14. Heron over Harrisburg, 48-7. And West Frankfort beat Massac County, 49-0. South 7 Conference action last night. Marion over Carbondale, 42-21. Belleville-Altoff just got past Cahokia, 21-20. And Centralia over Mount Vernon, 42-7. You can check out all those scores, of course, on our sports website at AreaSports.net. And when we come back, we will talk with Coach Justin Townsend of the Fairfield Mules about that win last night at El Dorado. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Heard the old saying, practice makes perfect. Well, there's actually a lot of truth to that, and you can get one-on-one instruction in baseball, softball, basketball, as well as speed and agility drills at the Sports Zone in Fairfield. The Sports Zone has been in business for quite some time now and has helped many area boy and girl athletes excel in their sport of choice. Lessons and practice times are available at convenient times that meet your schedule. The Sports Zone is located on Delaware Street in Fairfield, and we appreciate their support.
105.5 and 90.9 The Vine would like to thank Mount Vernon Wynn Nelson for underwriting support. With a newly remodeled showroom and over 100 years of combined service, Mount Vernon Wynn Nelson is the place for plumbing parts and supplies. They are located at 2230 Benton Road, and their hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. to 5 p.m. Their phone number is 618-244-3100, and you can find them on Facebook. Real Life Radio thanks Mount Vernon Wynn Nelson for underwriting support.
Are you going out of town for a vacation or a weekend getaway? What are you going to do with your dog? That's easy. There's Jagger's Doggy Daycare in Mount Vernon. Jagger's Doggy Daycare is your one-stop shop for overnight dog boarding, doggy daycare, as well as dog grooming and obedience dog training. It's your dog's home away from home. They will thrive, and they'll get one-on-one attention by a great staff. More information is available on the web at jaggersdoggydaycare.com. Jaggers Doggy Daycare, 414 Main Street in Mount Vernon. Welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live with audio streaming on our mobile app and our Vine website at wvyn.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio. Again, last night in the Black Diamond Conference, Fairfield Mules improved to 8-0 on the season. They faced a lot of adversity last night down at El Dorado, but they pull it out by a score of 14-8. Coach Justin Townsend on the phone with us right now. Good morning, Coach. Good to have you, and congratulations. What a hard-fought win last night.
Thank you very much. Absolutely. Hard-fought says it best.
Absolutely. And a couple of fumbles last night lost by the Mules, and that gave El Dorado a short field. And, of course, you fumbled the second play of the game, and that's how El Dorado got their initial score. But the next time that they fumbled to start the second half and had a short field and drove all the way down to the 5-yard line, again, that defense, which has been tough all year, stood the test and kept them out.
Yeah, even before all that, we get there, we go to flip on our headsets, and we have no juice. We had no headsets.
Oh, man. Wow.
We're trying to go back and forth with cell phone up top, which obviously doesn't work. And, I mean, we just had a lot of things go wrong. You're down there at El Dorado. It's a tough place to play. You know, the last 4 or 5 years, they've been the cream of the crop in the conference. I mean, yes, we've been able to tie a few times for conference champions. But, I mean, year in and year out, they're probably one of the teams to beat. And you mentioned it. We go out. We stop them defensively. We get the ball about midfield. And second play of the game, we fumble. We give them the short field. I still think it took them maybe 12, 13 plays to go 40 yards. I mean, we made them earn that one too. But we felt like if we didn't turn the ball over and made them go the length of the field, they wouldn't be able to score on us. And that's exactly how it played out, you know. Now, we did, you know, first series the first half, first series the second half, we fumbled. And even in the second half, we really gave them the short field. And but our kids responded. You know, we feel like defense is going to be our strength. I know I've been saying that all year. I think last night we proved that. I mean, our defense won the game, but I can't say enough, too. You know, our offensive line, you know, we rushed for over 200 yards. We controlled the line of scrimmage. We ran a lot of different backs at them. You know, I thought Lance Jolly, Wyatt Gilbert, Dylan Hefner all had tremendous games in the backfield for us, too. So, you know, it was obviously it was a big-time win for us.
Oh, it sure was.
Especially with all the things you mentioned, the adversity, and you're on the road. You're playing a really good football team with a Division I athlete. I mean, but to come out and win the way that we did, I mean, I think it's going to make us a better team come playoff time.
Well, speaking of that Division I athlete, we're talking about Traxler, of course, in the backfield for El Dorado. You held him to 64 yards last night on 17 carries. I think that's an excellent job.
Yeah, I mean, and that's, you know, probably midway, probably going into the fourth quarter, I'd say he was under 40. And when they got the ball back down 14-8, we kind of knew he was going to be getting it, you know, and he ripped off a couple of 10-yard runs right there. So that bumped him up over 60. I think we had him for 61 on 17 carries. So, you know, our goal, if we felt like, you know, a lot of people talk about Traxler, they forget about Metten, number 9, who is very, very good, junior running back, fullback, tough kid. We felt like if we could hold those two combined under 110 yards, and maybe that seems like a random number to people, but that's the number we had in our mind, that we could win, and we did that. We did that. We accomplished our goal, and you know, passing game was not an issue. You know, they had hit some big plays in the passing game throughout the season, and you know, we just felt like our secondary was going to be able to take care of that, and we could really commit our 7 or 8 guys to the run, and that's what we did all night.
Well, you stop El Dorado on your 5-yard line. You keep them out of the end zone, but it's not just a matter of stopping them. Then you go on a 19-play drive, and you chew up 10 minutes on the clock, and you go down and score, which is ultimately the winning score of the game.
Yeah, it was a great drive. We had 2 fourth-down conversions that, I mean, we're talking, you know, they say football is a game of inches. Well, we got those fourth-down conversions based on the measurements by inches. I mean, it was – and a lot of them were, second effort, third effort by a running back. I know Lance Jolly had a tremendous effort on one. Theron Stewart had a tremendous effort on one. They loaded the box. They knew we were running the football, and it was just sheer willpower from our offensive line and backs. We started out with the ball on the 5, and I was just trying to get it out from the end zone and get in a position where we could punt and flip field position. And the next thing you know, we're at midfield, and we've gotten 2 big fourth down conversions, and I kind of felt the momentum shift a little bit. I felt like, El Dorado maybe start to hang their heads, maybe get a little tired, and I felt like our guys kind of catch our second win all of a sudden. And, kind of at that point, I started to feel really good about things as far as, we're going to go down and score here, and then I knew our defense would be up to the challenge if we could just get that lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you take on, of course, Sesser-Valier next week at the Train Yard. Both teams come in 8-0 on the season. That'll be for the conference championship. And, of course, I know you would love to win that and go into the playoffs 9-0. What concerns you the most about Sesser-Valier?
I think definitely their athleticism. A lot of those kids played a lot of varsity football last year. They got several of the Gunther boys, and the quarterback is a dual threat, which is always a concern as a coach. A lot of times I feel like, if you got a quarterback, he's a pocket passer, okay, we can adjust. If he's a runner, you can adjust. But when the kid can do both, that makes it tough. And, defensively, I think they've kind of surprised some people this year. They're going to run their stack defense, and they're going to do a lot of stunning. And, they're going to be prepped and ready. I guess Vienna came out last night and ran the double wing on them a little bit, had a little success. But on the flip side, they basically got a game to prepare for us. So, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be fun. I would not be surprised if there's already people putting chairs out at Fairfield right now at the Train Yard. I think it's, I said a few weeks ago, if we could get to this point where we're 8-0, they're 8-0, it may be something that, we've never seen here in Fairfield before, and I really think it's going to be like that. I can't say enough about our crowd last night. We were 2 and 3 people deep on the sideline. I mean, if you're familiar with El Dorado, it was, on the visitor sideline from the shed, wrapped halfway around the field was Fairfield. And I would say pretty certain we had more people there than El Dorado. And it was just tremendous environment. We had, defense chant going on the last drive, when El Dorado's trying to get the tying score. And it was just a lot of fun to be involved in it. And that's what it's all about. And, kids are excited. We're going to enjoy this one this weekend, but we've already been watching film and prepping for Sesser. So.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, that's the first time since 2012 that Fairfield has beaten El Dorado in football. Isn't that right?
Yeah, they've had our number a little bit. I think we lead the series now 8-7. But yeah, and they've always been battles. Regardless, it's, the last 7-8 years they've always been good football games. 2 good football teams. So.
Well, it's going to be a playoff atmosphere next week, that's for sure, when you take on Sesser-Valier at the Train Yard. Both teams 8-0. Congratulations on the win last night, Coach, and I'll let you go. I know there's a lot of other radio stations wanting to talk to you this morning, so enjoy the weekend. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. That's Coach Justin Townsend of the Fairfield Mules, and again, they improved to 8-0 on the season, and the defense does it again. They stop El Dorado on the 5-yard line, then they march all the way down 95 yards on 19 plays, chew up over 10 minutes, push it in the end zone, and win it 14-8 last night. And again, they hold Traxler to 64 yards on offense. Total yards rushing they gave up last night at El Dorado, just 152 yards. And only one play by El Dorado last night was more than 10 yards. Pretty good effort by the Mules defense last night. Offensively, the Mules rack up 229 yards on the ground. Jolly has 88 yards of those. The Mules do lose one of their players last night due to a unsportsmanlike conduct play or call. Somewhat controversial in that Jaden Lewis was flagged once and then was flagged again a little bit later on and was ejected from the game last night. He will not be eligible to play as a result of the rules. He will not be eligible to play in that game next week against Sesser-Valier. But certainly will be rooting his team on and hopes to get back in the lineup for that first playoff game, which should be a home playoff game for the Mules at the Train Yard. But really, as far as many people are concerned, the playoffs begin next week for both Sesser and Fairfield, as it'll be a playoff atmosphere for sure next week at the train yard. When we come back, we'll talk to the other side. We'll talk to the viewpoint of Sesser-Valier. They got a huge win last night over Vienna. Coach Shadowens joins us next. Stay tuned.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
Accidents happen. It's part of life. But when an accident occurs with your car or truck, you can count on the professionals at Sesser Auto Body in Sesser. Whether you have a collision with a deer, a building, a parking post, or another vehicle, Sesser Auto Body in Sesser can restore your car or truck to look like nothing ever happened. That's why many people in Southern Illinois refer to Sesser Auto Body as the Collision Pros. We appreciate the underwriting support of Sesser Auto Body in Sesser.
Underwriting on the Vine is provided by B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon. B&C Bicycle Fitness specializes in bikes for the beginning rider to the high-end racer and can equip you with a comfortable bike to enjoy a healthy, active lifestyle with family and friends. B&C Bicycle Fitness is a full-service bicycle shop and is located at 410 South 27th Street in Mount Vernon. Their phone number is 816-4077. B&C Bicycle Fitness in Mount Vernon, where the adventure begins.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch here live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on the Vine website with audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio. Last night in Black Diamond Conference action again, Sesser-Valier. They won again to improve to 8-0 on the season as they defeated Vienna by a score of 38-13. That sets up the showdown next week for the Black Diamond Conference Championship between Sesser-Valier. The Red Devils will be at Fairfield to take on the Mules, who are also 8-0. And to join us on the phone right now is Coach John Shadowens of the Red Devils. Good morning, John. How are you?
Good morning. Pretty good.
Boy, I'll tell you what a victory again last night for your ball club. 38-13, the win. You're now 8-0 on the season. I know at the beginning of the year you had to have goals of winning the conference championship, and of course you want to go out and you win every game, but are you kind of pinching yourself this morning and thinking, man, we have won 8 in a row? It's got to feel great.
Yeah, well, a lot of things had to go right for us. We had to get some breaks, had to stay healthy in some key spots. Anytime you're 8-0, things like that are going to fall in place, but you got to play pretty well too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And your team has played well, both offensively and defensively. I heard someone say that Vienna came out maybe and threw you a little bit different wrinkle last night offensively, but it sounds like your defense adjusted.
They sure did. Coach Rude come out and they run a toe-to-toe double wing, which we hadn't seen out of them or out of him ever, and caught us by surprise, and they kept the ball for about 7.5, 8 minutes on their first drive. He's getting first down after first down, but we did get to adjust, and the good thing is that's what Fairfield runs, so we got a little preview.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, you did. And that's the thing, to be able to adjust on the fly like that. But you got smart kids and you got coachable kids, and when you have that situation, it's easy to make that adjustment on the fly.
Bingo. That's it. You got smart, coachable kids that'll do what you say and trust you. That goes a long way.
Yeah. Well, walk us through the game last night and tell us how you were able to score offensively against Vienna, and kind of walk us through how the game played out.
Well, they had to gamble a little bit defensively to try to stop us. They brought some kids, they brought some linebackers, and were really aggressive in the gaps. We were able to get outside of them early and set up some inside stuff later on in the game. Eli Gunner had a big game, rushed for over 200 yards, and just made a couple of unbelievable runs, breaking tackles, and hats off to him. He had a game of his life.
Okay. And any turnovers last night that played a big role in the game?
The turnovers?
Yeah, any turnovers play a big role in the game last night?
Yeah, we had one bad one near the end of the first half. We were driving to score again. The score was 18-7, and we threw an interception there inside the 10-yard line. But, our quarterback was trying to make a play, and don't blame him a bit. But I don't think any turnovers actually turned the tide or anything like that. We had an onside kick after we went up 10-7 that we recovered, and that played a pretty big role too.
Well, next week you go to Fairfield to the train yard. You take on the Mules. It's going to be certainly a playoff atmosphere with both teams coming in 8-0. I mean, the crowd's just going to be enormous from both communities, and I know you got to be excited about that. And what concerns you the most going into that game against Fairfield?
Well, the speed of their defense is unbelievable. I mean, they've pitched 6 shutouts this year already. Their defense is a known quantity. They're famous around Southern Illinois for it right now. So all eyes are on their defense right now.
Well, their defense was able to hold Traxler to 64 yards last night at El Dorado, and you know how good Traxler is.
Absolutely. You know, I think we held them to 75, but you know, it took a lot of doing to do that. So I think the Fairfield did what they did last night. They did what they do, I should say, and that was no surprise.
Well, hopefully both teams will get home playoff games to start the playoff situation here in another week. But that's a big thing next week to play for that conference championship, because I know both programs would love to have that BDC title.
Sure, it's very important. You know, what a great tune-up for the playoffs. You know, you get the playoff atmosphere a week early, and even if you get beat, you still have that experience under your belt. Get to play another week.
Well, and an experience against a very high-quality football team, because it's going to be a good prep for both of you because you've had such successful seasons.
I agree with you. It couldn't have worked out any better. I mean, I don't remember the last time the White Diamond had 2 undefeated teams in Week 9 playing against each other. I think it was back in the 70s when Christopher and Carterville played.
Right, and I also hope that this will lead a situation to where we see some wins in the playoffs this year by a couple of Black Diamond Conference schools, and I think that certainly Sesser-Valier and Fairfield have the ability and the talent to be able to make a run in the playoffs and notch up a couple of victories, and I hope so.
Boy, I hope so too, Randy. We all root for each other in the playoffs. I sure hope Fairfield can make some noise there and win a couple of games in the playoffs.
As far as how you came out of the game last night, everybody healthy and going to be ready to go next Friday?
Yeah, you know, we're as healthy right now as we've been since Week 5. So you can't complain about that. Got a couple of kids back last night. Got Josh Gunner and Jayon Malone back, and they look strong and getting better. So and we're excited.
Any idea, looking ahead, who might be a potential playoff opponent for Sesser-Valier as you move into postseason? Have you thought about that at all?
Well, yeah, we've thought about it. We've looked at the projections and, you know, had fun with that, you know, with spare moments. But there's not a clear-cut favorite. I mean, we've seen a lot of projections from the conference up there that has Carlinville in it, Vandalia, and those type teams. I think Hillsborough is a possibility. But, you know, there's so many variables right now. It's really hard to pin it down and say that's probably who we're going to play.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, Coach, again, congratulations on the win last night and moving to 8-0 on the season, and going to be an exciting time next week at the Train Yard in Fairfield as your Sesser-Valier Ball Club comes in 8-0 against the Mules 8-0, and it's going to be a playoff atmosphere, and we look forward to it. Again, thanks for your time today, okay, Coach?
Thank you, Randy.
All right, take care. Bye-bye. That's Coach John Shadowens of the Sesser-Valier Red Devils. Again, they are 8-0 on the season. Of course, a co-op with Waltonville and Woodlawn as well. They got some players from that team as well on that co-op team. And what a season they have had. And when you look at, what they did last year and what he did this year with that team, it's just amazing. I mean, Coach Shadowens is an excellent coach. And, it's so cool to see him do this after, being out of coaching for a while. He stepped out of the game, and then he said he learned a lot when he stepped out of the game and away from the game and had a chance to go watch football be played in other places and in other conferences to see how other coaches were doing it and other programs were doing it. And he said he learned a lot when he was outside of the conference and going around and watching other football programs, which, again, if you're a good coach, you're always a student of the game, and Coach Shadowens is certainly a good coach. And so, packed with that knowledge, he gets back into coaching, comes back to Sesser-Valier, where he coached at before and had success. And last year, I don't have it in front of me, I think they were about 5-4 last year, something like that? Okay. But this year, expectations were certainly higher this year, but I don't think anybody came into the season thinking that Sesser-Valier was going to be 8-0. And even Fairfield. I mean, everybody had high expectations for Fairfield this year, but I don't think anybody really thought going into the season that you were going to see a matchup between Sesser-Valier and Fairfield in Week 9 and both teams come in at 8-0. I just don't think anybody really thought that. I mean, you hope that, but nobody really thought that. But here we are, and how exciting is it going to be next week at the Train Yard, and how many people are going to be there? This is going to be incredible, and certainly a playoff atmosphere. Both teams know they're in the playoffs. Both teams know that they should have a home playoff game in Week 10. And now it's just a matter of the Black Diamond Conference Championship up for grabs. And a tune-up, a really, really good tune-up for both teams going into the playoffs. And I hope that the game is able to be played next week without any controversy and certainly without anybody getting injured, because you want both those Black Diamond Conference teams to be able to go into the playoffs, fully healthy and all set and ready, because, I think that those two teams have a chance to finally make some noise for the conference in the playoffs. Most of the time, when you take a look at Black Diamond Conference teams that go into the playoffs, most of the time they lose in the first round. They're one and done. Last year you had El Dorado win a few games, and a few years you may have a team, win one. But most of the time, the Black Diamond Conference teams have taken their lickings. They've taken their beatings in the playoffs. And, if you are from the Black Diamond Conference, if you live in a community that is in the Black Diamond Conference, you want to see the conference do good. And this year, I think they've got a chance to do exactly that. So, and it's not just Fairfield and in Sesser-Valier. I mean, El Dorado's going to be in the playoffs too. I mean, they are 6-2 on the season. Carmi should be in the playoffs. And so, again, I think that the conference has a chance to make some noise this year. Hey, when we come back, we are going to talk to Coach Brian Tackitt of the Flora Wolves. They stepped out of the conference last night, out of the Little Illini. They took on the Carlisle Indians last night. What a wild one that is. We'll talk to Brian about it when we come back after this message.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
When it comes to custom cabinets and furniture, Barbary Woodworks in Fairfield is the name you need to know for American-made cabinets with American-made products. For the kitchen and bath, they also feature DuPont, Corian, Zodiac, and Granite. Barbary Woodworks also specializes in hardwood flooring, trim doors, and windows. In fact, they have a showroom where you can see it all at 307 Highland Avenue in Fairfield. Or go online and visit their website at barbaryswoodworks.com and visit them on Facebook as well.
Most of us tend to take our printed materials for granted, but it's hard to imagine life today without print. Printing is communicating. Whether it's promotional, operational, or administrative, we're here to meet your printing needs. Peacock Print and Marketing has been serving the people in Southern Illinois since 1977. We're located at 1112 Jordan Street in Mount Vernon. Our phone number is 242-3157. Our website is peacockprinting.com. We believe in honoring God by serving our clients through print and marketing and helping them reach their full potential.
This is your home for best Christian music.
WVYN, Blueford, Wayne City, Fairfield, Mount Vernon.
And now on Translator, W288CO Centralia, broadcasting at 105.5.
A service of Real Life Radio Foundation.
The best Christian music, 90.9 The Vine.
Christian music and programming on The Vine is provided by Kuntz Computers in Mount Vernon. If you have an iPad, iPhone, or an iPod and need repair, Kuntz Computers can help you. They also do PC sales and repair, laptop repair, server installation, wired and wireless networking. They also do custom logos and banner design and website development. Kuntz Computers is located at 2409 Broadway in Mount Vernon, and their phone number is 242-7514. Welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio, and also streaming live worldwide on the Vine website with audio streaming at WVYN.org. I'm Randy Olson, live in studio. Danny not with us this morning. He's still on that combine. Got the beans taken care of and trying to get the corn out of the field right now, and hopefully he'll be back with us next week. Well, last night in the Little Illini Conference, Red Hill shut out Lawrenceville 55-0. It was Marshall over Casey Westfield 36-8. Newton beat Olney 42-21. Paris over Robinson 46-7. And the Flora Wolves stepped out of the conference last night and took on Carlisle. What a football game that must have been. Carlisle Indians win it over the Wolves by a score of 14-7. Let's find out more about it with head coach of the Florida Wolves, Brian Tackitt. Brian, how are you this morning?
Good. How you doing, Randy?
Great. Good to have you on the show. Sound like that was a wild game last night. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was a good game. If you come for the offense and fireworks, you may have left disappointed. But as far as just a good high school game, it was that. And of course, me doing the defense, if you tell me that we're going to hold Carlisle, who historically had put some points up on the board this year, hold them to 14, I thought we would have had a good chance, and we did have a good chance. But we scored early. I think into the first quarter, we had a 30-yard pass from our senior quarterback who had been out the last 2 weeks, so we got him back, and that was good for us. He hit Dylan Bible on a 30-yard pass and score, so we were up 7-0 to begin with. Carlisle, they responded really, really well. They drove the ball down on us, kind of had us on our heels defensively when we was able to come up with a turnover and get the ball back about our own 20, but we just couldn't get that momentum switched over to our side, a 3-and-out, and a bad punt gave them the ball at our own 40, and then they just kept the momentum and put it in there for a score on us, got the 2-point conversion. So at halftime, it was 8-7. And then we kicked off to them the second half, and the drive that won the game for them was the very first drive. We even had a penalty against them on the kickoff return and backed them up to their 10-yard line, and they went 90 yards in, I think, about 7 minutes. So we didn't get the ball till about 5 minutes ago in the third quarter. We did stop the 2-point conversion, which was big, because I kept it at a one-possession game at 14-7. And, the fourth quarter was just a lot of defense, and we had our chances 2 times. We were driving down the field, and then I think a penalty killed one drive, and then a bad snap killed it with about 5-6 minutes to go in the game. We had the ball down there about their 30 and had a bad snap and got put way back in the 4th and long, and that was the game, 14-7.
Wow. That's incredible. But, things have got to bounce your way a couple of times, of course, in any football game. And last night you just had some things go the other way. And in a tight game like that, that's tough to take, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. I mean, we had our chances, and then just some missed opportune penalties, which, our quarterback is a scrambling kid, and that's what he does well, and we're going to let him do that. But he may scramble left and then come back right, and then maybe even thinking about going left again, and puts our line in positions that are kind of tough for them to know exactly where he's at. And we had, I think, 2 or 3 blocking the backs and holdings on stuff like that, and a couple of them were on plays where he ends up scrambling for 10, 15 yards, but then penalties in the backfield, and it's a spot foul. So that was, it could have been a difference of 30 yards in a play like that. I think we had a couple of those. And then, like I said, we're driving down there in the fourth quarter. I'm even having conversations with Coach Warren. Do we want to kick it to tie it, or do we want to go for 2 for the win? We were, as a program, stuck on $4.99. We was trying to get $500 last night. So
yeah,
we thought about maybe going for 2, but we just, the bad snap, and it was loud, and we were going on a short count, and the center thought he heard it, and he didn't, but it's tough to tell. And bad snap, we weren't ready for it. So yeah, just stuff like that kind of killed us last night, and just couldn't overcome it.
Boy, and you're right. When you hold Carlisle to 14 points, you're doing something defensively, because this Carlisle team was a team that 2 weeks ago, I think put 38 points up against Trenton Westglen, and that's a good football team that beat Bree Central last night. So Carlisle can definitely score some points. So holding them to 14, your defense did a good job.
Yeah, they did. Now, they did have their starting quarterback was out last night. He had dislocated his shoulder in the film that we saw the week before against Salem. But they still got a lot of weapons. They got a nice running back. The Shivers kid is about 6'4", great, good receiver that they can throw to. And starting quarterback or backup quarterback, if you would have told me, hey, 14 points is what Carlisle will get, then I probably would have taken that and took my chances with it. But yeah, it was a good defensive effort by the kids last night, and but Carlisle as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Carlisle had beaten Redbud earlier this year, and I think they got a win over Freeburg earlier this year too. So yeah, that's a quality football team. So yeah, tough loss last night, 14-7. Wow. So what's that put the Wolves at now? I don't have it right in front of me. You are
well. Yeah, well, that put us at 3-5.
3-5, right?
Yeah, knocked us out of postseason
playoff contention.
And yeah, we talked about that all week, making sure Week 9 is relevant as far as getting to Week 10, and and it's not, and that's we still got a week to get better and go after a good Red Hill team. Just unfortunately, we don't have a shot at Week 10.
Yeah. Speaking of Red Hill, they put it all over Lawrenceville last night, 55-0. What scares you most or concerns you most, I guess, about Red Hill next week?
Yeah, about everything. They're, they're good, and they'll, if they beat us, I think they've got a share of conference wrapped up already, but they got a lot on the line for them. They want the perfect season and the undefeated conference record, and the best possible seeding in the 1A South that they can get. They are loaded in the backfield. Florkowski kid, a senior, who's well over 1,000 yards, and then the Moore kid, who's a junior, is over 1,000 yards. So, and then their quarterback comes back, and he's been there since a sophomore year. So, and he's a senior now. So they got a lot of experience in the backfield, and then they've probably got one of the best Red Hill lines that we've seen. Historically they've been big, but sometimes they're slow and maybe a little, I hate to say it, sloppy, but they just rely on their brute strength. But this year they're big and they're fast, and it's one of the best Red Hill lines that we've seen. So and they've beaten Newton and Paris and really taken it to some of the teams. So we know that they're good, but I think Syracuse beat Clemson last night. So hey, that's why you play the game, and we're going to prepare as the best shot to go over there and win and to see what happens.
Hey, that's exactly why you play the game. I mean, just ask Iowa State last week. They were 35-point underdogs, and they win. So
yeah, and it's just an awesome game, and every sport is. It's just it's great, and then just go out there and compete and do the best you can. And sometimes the ball bounces your way. Last night it didn't for us, but who's to say Red Hill's not in the spot we were last night? So
Sure. Well, as I look at those other scores in the little line, I was a little surprised at how bad Paris beat Robinson, 46-7. Is that Paris ball club that good, or is Robinson just down? That score surprised me.
Well, it's probably a little bit of both. Paris is a good team. Of course, they're 4A, so I don't know how well they'll do it in the 4A playoffs. But Paris is big, and they've got a senior running back is a pretty good kid, and they got a younger sophomore that's they kind of got the thunder and lightning thing going with the tough runner and in between the tackles and the quick kid that gets outside. But Robinson, we had them week 2, so I know they've had some injuries occur. The quarterback was hurt preseason, and I don't know that he's ever gotten back to take snaps. And they had one of their better defensive players, a senior, that got hurt. And I know they've been playing some young kids, and by young I mean fresh off kids, and even some freshmen in some key spots. So Coach Nolan does a great job there. I respect him like crazy. He's got a good program, but they're just in some tough times where they're playing some younger kids. So it's probably accumulation of both.
Yeah, gotcha. Well, I'm going to shift gears with you here a little bit because I know you coach baseball as well and you love baseball. And I got to ask you about this baseball playoff game the other night with the Cubs and Washington, and that drop third strike that got through the wickets of the catcher and went back to the screen. And, of course, the Cubs score there, and they go on and score a couple more that inning. How about the call, or the lack of the call, I guess, where the backswing hit the catcher's mask? If you look at the Major League Baseball rule book, that should have been a dead ball, and nobody should advance. And,
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I can't believe that in a playoff situation, Major League Baseball can't get that right.
Yeah, and I think then I read where that's not reviewable. I don't think that was even reviewable. In other words, if they would have caught that on film in the Nationals dugout, I don't think that they could come out and review whether he came in contact with the catcher or not. But yeah, that's crazy. I mean, I guess I'm kind of an old traditionalist. I'm not sure I really like the review stuff, and but once you got it, you want to get it right. So if you have it, you want to use it. But
well, the catcher comes out of there holding his head, and he keeps pointing to his head, and he says, "Hey, the bat hit me. The bat hit me."
Yeah,
And but I don't know if the umpire just did not honestly see it or what.
Yeah, I assume he didn't see it, and but yeah, that would have been dead ball, right? And nobody advances, and you lose a game by one. That's a pretty tough call.
Yeah, it is. But boy, I don't know. And the funny thing is, they were showing the replay back, of course, to all of us watching the game on television, and you could clearly see that he was hit by the bat. So the catcher did have a reason to do and act the way he did, but apparently the umpire didn't see it. But I also found it interesting that the color commentator guy, Ron Darling, was not abreast of what the rule was. He didn't even know that that's what the rule was.
Oh, he didn't? Yeah,
No.
I wasn't watching it live, but I did, see about it, read about it, and so I didn't know he wasn't aware of the rules. But of course, as Cardinal fans, we were looking for anything and everything to get them out of the playoffs. So,
Yeah, well, it was quite a game. That game had a little bit of everything in it. It really did.
It did, didn't it? And the pickoff move review, and I was sitting there saying, like, well, they can't call him out. They can't see that. But then after the call, they give the simultaneous, camera from front view, back view, and you can see it from the front view. Yeah, the foot came off, back view. Yeah, the tag is on there. So, that was playoffs have been crazy this year. Starting pitching's not been good, and these games that go down, I mean, you're seeing Scherzer and Lester as bullpen guys, and that's different for those guys too. The mentality to come in like that. So
well, they're all creatures of habit, and it just seems like anytime you bring a starting pitcher into a game as a reliever, they just can't mentally do it. They're creatures of habit, and when you bring them in the middle of the game, they just can't do it.
Yeah, those relievers, the guys that are really good, they're kind of weirdos, that's what they thrive on, is they got different personalities and they're different quirks about them, and they come out, and the Bulldogs, they get 2 or 3 outs is all they need to do, and starters seem to be more relaxed, and when you try to change that mentality, things usually don't work out very well.
Yeah, and then here you got Cleveland. They win the first 2 games of their series, and of course they, won 20-some games in a row to set a new record this year, and now they're out of the playoffs. It's just weird. It's weird.
I thought Cleveland was maybe not just run through the playoffs in the AL side, but I thought they would get back to the World Series. I was surprised to see them out.
Yeah, but that's why you play the game.
So,
So that's why the Wolves got to go into Red Hill next week against the Salukis, and hey, it's 0-0 when they start. So.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Do your best. So hey, good to have you on the show, Brian, and best of luck next week, and enjoy the weekend. Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Randy.
Take care. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Brian Tackitt, head coach of the Florida Wolves, and a tough loss last night out of the conference as they took on Carlisle and lost 14-7. And they'll take on that tough Red Hill team next week that won last night over Lawrenceville by a score of 55-0. Hey, we got one more guest to come on the show, and that'll be a cross-country coach. That's right. Sam Wilson, cross-country coach down at Hamilton County, joins us next to talk about the conference champion Foxes. We'll be right back.
It's the local sports talk show that everyone is talking about. It's the Sports Couch on 90.9 The Vine and AreaSports.net.
We get up early and we put our work gloves on and give a little smile as we slide the barn door open and finish off our coffee. It's tractor time. I just can't imagine life without a compact tractor anymore. Just hearing that Yanmar diesel engine start up make those chores seem a whole lot smaller. Yanmar compact tractors are that part of life that just keeps getting better. Just like wine, except with front wheel assist and power steering. We're Main Street Shop Fairfield. We have Yanmar tractors and lots of them.
Prominent Technologies in McLeansboro is an underwriting supporter of The Vine. Chad May and Prominent Technologies specialize in computer and laptop repair, IT system upgrades, virus protection software, digital security camera installation, and on-location consulting. Prominent Technologies are computer problem solvers, and they have a long list of satisfied customers. Their phone number is 643-7114, and they are located just north of the square in McLeansboro.
ProVision Eye Care would love to help you determine if laser vision correction is right for you. Dr. Stephen Wexler of TLC St. Louis will present a short, free seminar at their office on Monday, October 16th at 5:30 p.m. This is your chance to have all of your LASIK questions answered by a nationally acclaimed surgeon. Don't miss this very special opportunity. Find more information on the ProVision Eye Care Facebook page or call their office at 244-0508. ProVision Eye Care is proud to be a supporter of local Christian radio.
Welcome back to the Sports Couch. You're live on a Saturday morning on 105.5 and 90.9 The Vine Radio. Also streaming live worldwide on both our websites. Actually, on one of our websites, I should say. The Vine website. We're streaming live audio this morning at wvyn.org. Trying to make connection here with Sam Wilson, cross-country coach down at Hamilton County. Sometimes Sam has his ringer turned off, and that might be the case this morning. So if anybody is with Sam or knows where Sam's at, hey, you can also help me by sending him a text saying, hey, call Randy at the Vine. Anyway, cross-country champions in the Black Diamond Conference. The Foxes won that this past week. They are the conference champions in boys, and they are the conference runner-up in girls, as the Lady Foxes take second place at the Black Diamond Conference meet. And I got a call coming in right now. I hope that's Sam. And let's take a look and see. Is this Sam Wilson?
Yes. How's it going?
Hey, it's going great, and congratulations. You win the Black Diamond Conference championship in boys cross country and then take second with the girls. You got to be happy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was a good time. They did well. Most everybody had one of their best races of the season, so can't ask for much more.
No, you can't. And junior Hunter Braden makes all-conference, and but, boy, you've got a great nucleus of runners that have really bought into this whole idea of cross-country and being self-motivated. And it takes a special group of athletes to do cross-country, no doubt, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and, like you said, we've got a great group. I mean, we've got 30 guys. There are 30 total people on the team, boys and girls, and they work hard every day, and every single one of them has improved immensely throughout the course of the season.
Yeah, let's talk about a meet that you had here recently. It was your own invitational. You had 14 teams at the Hamilton County Invitational, and you won that. Talk about that invitational and some of the teams that were there and how that played out.
Yeah, at our invitational, of course it rained that morning. We were supposed to have a couple more teams there, but it rained that morning, scared a couple of them out. But we run well on our own course. We know it quite well, and had some exceptional performances by everybody. I mean, we won the JV race, the boys varsity, and the girls varsity race. We had good competition from Carmine on the girls' side. They always run hard. They've only got 5 girls, but they always run competitive. And then on the boys' side, there's a lot of teams this year. A lot of schools this year have teams that have never had teams before, so it's nice to see in Southern Illinois, that many teams.
Yeah, well, for those people who don't know where that course is at, explain to people where you run your course at for that invitational.
Yeah, we run at Dolan Lake, which is a great place to run. It's only 8 miles away from McLeansboro, so we get to go out there quite often. And it runs through a lot of trails. There's only about a half mile of it that's on the road, and everything else is all trails, which, of course, having it on trails and they're wooded trails, there's a lot of roots and things like that, but I didn't hear of anybody getting injured out there, so that's always a plus.
Yeah, it is always a plus. Well, in the boys' race, I guess Rubenacker actually won. He got 4th, and Braden got 5th, Butler 6th, Hunt 8th, and Meade got 13th for your 5 places in the boys' race. And then on the girls' side, it looks like individually, I think Coombs got 4th, Halley got 6th, Reagan 10th, and Chapman 12th.
Yeah, they've on the girls' side, they've been running crazy close together. My top 4, the last 3 or 4 meets, they've been within 1 minute of each other, and that's something I knew we'd have a pretty tight group there, but I didn't really expect it to be within a minute of my top 4, from 1 to 4, all be within a minute of each other.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah.
And that helps immensely.
Well, when you have them practice and train, do you have them run together, both the boys and the girls run together?
Some of them do. I mean, different girls run with some of the guys that are, at their speed. And that's the good thing about having so many is that we have a wide variety of times, and everybody can train with somebody. Nobody has to train alone on our team.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, again, the numbers that you've got out for cross country, it speaks well for you, Sam, because, again, I'm looking at other schools around here that are much larger enrollment than McLeansboro, Mount Vernon, for example. And, they don't have those kind of numbers for the girls and the boys. But what you're doing down there at Hamilton County is really something special, and it's great to see these athletes competing.
Oh, yeah, it's great. And, the kids do a heck of a job of talking up the sport and getting people interested in it. I've already talked to my girls recently, and they're like, "Oh, such and such is running next year, and such," and I'm like, "All right, I'm glad you guys are recruiting and getting it done." So.
Well, and you've got a lot of young runners on both squads, right? I mean, this is not a bunch of seniors. You got a lot of young runners.
Oh yeah. At the conference, my number 2 guy, who was 6th overall, Caden Richards, he's just a sophomore. And my number 7 runner, Theron Smith, he's just a sophomore. And those guys have been pushing it up all season. But, I mean, I've got a boatload of sophomores and a couple juniors that already looking into next year, I'm pretty excited. So.
Well, you should be. Well, now that you've won the Black Diamond Conference Championship among the boys and you got second in the girls, what's next for your cross-country program?
Well, we go to Benton for the Benton Invitational on Monday. There's supposed to be 29 teams there.
Wow.
It's always a very competitive meet. Benton's got a regional and a sectional this year, so a lot of the teams are wanting to see their course. And so that's going to bring out more. Last year, I think they had about 18 teams there. So it should be a heck of a race, and it'll be interesting to see how we stack up against them, that many teams and the quality of teams that'll be there.
Yeah, 29 teams, that'll be a good measuring stick.
Oh, yeah. And then we've got regional at Benton next Saturday, which on the boys' side will most likely be between us and Benton, and on the girls' side it'll be between us and Carmi. And then we have sectional at Benton the next week, and it's going to be a tough sectional. I mean, there's a lot of good teams: Freeburg, Columbia, Stillville, Trenton Westland, Breeze Mater Dei. I mean, all those teams should be funneling into it, and it's going to be a tough sectional, but hopefully we could have our top performances on that day and do something.
So that course at Benton, where exactly do they run that at in Benton, Sam?
It's at the park. It's if you go down by the baseball and softball fields at the park.
Yeah.
It starts right below the furthest softball field, and it runs out and about through their woods down there, and then finishes back in the same general vicinity down there.
Okay, so, and then where is the sectional meet run at?
Well, our sectional this year, for probably the first time that I've ever seen it, is also at Benton.
Oh, okay.
So we have 3 meets in a row at Benton.
Wow.
This year.
Well, you're going to get real familiar with that course.
Oh yeah, and my kids like it a lot. It's a good course. It's a pretty tough course, but the times are always real good there. So I'd say you'll see some crazy fast times at Benton over the next 3 meets.
So is a lot of that course also run on grass and off pavement?
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of it that's ran on pavement. There's a few spots where you have to cross the road or you run next to the road for a tad bit, but you can really run pretty much the entire race without getting very much on the road.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, Sam, we congratulate you on the success you've had so far this year with both your boys and girls cross-country team, and we wish you well as you move into that Benton Invitational next week and then the regionals and sectionals to follow, and keep it up.
All right. Thanks so much.
All right. Have a great weekend. Appreciate it.
You too.
Bye-bye. That's Sam Wilson. You talk about a heck of a cross-country program. They've got it going on down there in Hamilton County. And, to have that many girls out for cross-country, even given the fact that there is a good volleyball program at Hamilton County, that speaks volumes for Sam as a coach. And, again, you've got quite a few guys playing football at Hamilton County, but yet look at the numbers that he's got on cross-country team. And a lot of youth on the team, too. So it's not just a situation where you got a whole bunch of seniors who are running cross-country. It's, like he said, a lot of sophomores and juniors and even some freshmen as well. So bodes well for the future of cross-country down there at Hamilton County. And that Benton Invitational that's coming up this week, he said 29 teams are going to be in that. So that'll be a great measuring stick for the Foxes and Lady Foxes to determine exactly where they are going to fall at in terms of moving towards the regional. That'll be run on the same course. So it's interesting. They're going to be running at the Benton course for the Benton Invitational this week, and then the regional and the sectional will both be at that Benton course. So there'll be 3 meets in a row, as you heard him say, that they will be running there on that course at Benton, which is largely off of pavement there by the baseball fields there in Benton. All right, well, we are going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Sports Couch. We appreciate you joining us. Got to cut out a little bit early today due to the dog adoption day that I'm involved in over at Mount Vernon today, which takes place from 10 until 3 at Jaggers Doggy Daycare. That's at 414 Main Street in Mount Vernon. Lots of rescue organizations are there today that have dogs available for adoption. So if you're looking for a fur baby, that might be a place for you to head out today from 10 till 3 there at Jaggers at 414 Main Street in Mount Vernon. Be back next week with another edition of the Sports Couch, and hopefully Danny will be back with us too if they get all that corn harvested. So best of luck to him, and hope they stay safe out there. Thank you for listening in. Thanks to all of our guests this morning, and again, thanks to our sponsors for making it all possible. We'll be back next Saturday for another edition of the Sports Couch at 8:30 right here on AreaSports.net and on 90.9 The Vine. Have a great day, everyone. So long.
All your favorite songs by all your favorite Christian artists.